How about those Bucks? Huge win last night as they continue to not lose back-to-back games. What was their record last year? Was it 18 and 1?
The Bucks, they were 23-1 last year, coming off a loss.
Yes, and they had lost the night before.
That's over the last two seasons.
Two seasons. Right. So they had lost their previous game, and this one had the Lakers coming to town. The Lakers fell behind early in this one. Managed to claw their way back to make it a game. But they do win the game, and thus the Lakers, by the way, stated goal of this season was to not have back-to-back losses. They lost in their previous game. So now they said after the game, okay, now
we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that again.
Listen,
run it back.
This wasn't a great game. I mean, it was a 19-point lead for the Bucks at halftime. In the first quarter, I believe Anthony Davis and LeBron were like 1 of 11. It wasn't good. And then they made a great run in the second half to come back into this game. The stars were the stars. If you look at the stat line, you'll see the 3 superstars in this. They did superstar things. But then you look at where did this all come from. Remember when the season started, we thought, okay, they have Kuzma, who, by the way, still isn't playing, Kuzma, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James. But, man, that depth and especially that bench isn't going to do them very well. But they were doing pretty well. And we're like, oh, okay, they're doing pretty well. Not last night. It was the bench. Milwaukee bench outscored the Lakers bench 34-4. They crushed them on the bench. So stars did their thing. Bench was a huge a pickup for Milwaukee, and Milwaukee gets the win.
Giannis went 5 for 8 from 3.
Yeah.
Like, you could stop the analysis there and say, in a game where one of the guys who is in the conversation for the best player on the planet, who has been predominantly a guy that makes his living inside the restricted area, now all of a sudden has the ability to step back and hit 5 threes, most of them from 27 feet or longer. You're probably going to lose that game.
Right.
You're probably going to lose that game 10 out of 10 times.
By the way, those 5 made threes, the most in his career in a game. And it reminds me of a generation gone by because he didn't have this step-back 3 last year. I mean, he would occasionally hoist one.
Right.
But, I mean, we've seen in a couple of games, like he's barely across mid-court, or he'll take a pass and take a step back and hit deep threes. We've seen him do that multiple times this year. That's something that added to his arsenal this offseason. It reminded me in the 80s when the Magic led Lakers and the Larry Bird led Celtics were sort of reviving the NBA off the horrible 70s, and Magic didn't really have a jump shot. And one offseason he went and really worked on his jump shot, came back, had a jump shot, and was the MVP of the league. Giannis is just extending his range.
He
is.
is.
He's doing things last year that he was not capable of doing.
We talked to Legs about this, like Tim Legler, our ESPN NBA analyst. Giannis is probably never going to be a dynamic jump shooter. For example, here we go. You guys ready for some nerd? Get the nerd button ready, Trey. According to Second Spectrum, Giannis Antetokounmpo is making 45% of his three-pointers when the closest defender is at least 6 feet away. So he's got space. Like, people aren't respecting this in a way, and he is making them pay. You can see last night, a lot of them are on pick-and-roll situations where, of course, you're going to sag off because the scariest thing Giannis can do is go towards the basket where he is good at getting to the rim and creating for others. But now he had that third option of, all right, if you're going to sag off me that much, I've got the ability to make uncontested threes, and that's all especially right now, that's all you need to do because the threat of everything else is so prevalent.
And by the way, like, obviously, we talk about this all the time. There's no significant or meaningful regular season games, but there are fun ones, right?
Yes.
They're fun.
Yes.
This was a fun one. This was a fun game in the regular season. Giannis is full, like, I know what this is and I know what it isn't after the game with Allie LaForce.
At the end of the day, it's one game in the regular season. What we try to do tonight is play hard, try to sprint back as hard as possible, guard better, and just learn from this game. Learn how to play these guys because it's one of the best teams in the league. It's always good to learn from this game. But at the end of the day, it's just a regular season. Thank God we was able to get the win, but the team played great.
Well, the Allie LaForce was with us last night.
Oh.
Come on, James. Come on, give me the rim shot on that one.
I need the loser game show.
Come on, that's a rim shot.
He wasn't even
Thank
listening.
you.
That does not deserve
Thank you.
James had a late night. He was at Star Wars with us, so
whatever.
Yeah, we're all hurting a little bit this
you
morning.
are, okay.
But
I'm hurting for a different reason.
I felt bad that I gave you guys a Second Spectrum nerd stat because I know your guys
we're a little
aren't really built for that. So I got like a historical.
You got an old guy
stat for you guys.
Okay, all
Stats that matter?
Last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously a 30-point double-double. Anthony Davis also had a 30-point double-double last night. Pretty solid game despite being a little bit banged up. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, the last time a Lakers and Bucks matchup featured a 30-point double-doubles by opposing players, February 4th, 1972, in that game, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went for 40 and 18.
And Wilt Chamberlain?
Jerry West went for 37 and 13.
I knew it had to be the 70s. That's good.
That's awesome. Can I throw one more in that time frame as well?
Sure.
The last time the Bucks were the first team to 25 wins in the NBA, 73-74 season, Kareem, that team went to the finals and lost to the Celtics.
That's very good.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.